Setting up field availability and scheduling home games on home fields. In the left-hand navigation, when you click on Fields and Venues, you will see any fields that have been previously set up for this particular competition listed on the left. In addition, you can search for any fields in the system to see if they already exist. If you have a new field, you can create it on this page by typing in the venue name, the venue short name, the address, the city, the state, and click Add New. Once you've added the venue, then you can click on the Fields tab and add additional fields to that venue. When you have the venue and the field in our system, you can click on Field Availability. Under the Field Availability tab, you're going to see any fields listed off to the left assigned to this venue. When I click on a field, I get a black triangle pointing that I'm in the process of updating this field. What I want to do is I want to set up recurring field availability records for this field. So if this field is open on Saturdays, starting with next weekend, ending at the end of November, I set up the open time and the close time for this field. And I click Create. The system's going to show me my field availability records listed down below. If I have a date I need to black out from the schedule, I can check that date and click Delete. Once I have my field availability records created for one field, I can copy this to additional fields. So I have 3 fields on this screen. I've set my field availability for field 1, and then I can say copy the above field availability between 1 and 3. That will copy this field availability to fields 1, 2, and 3. Once you have your field availability set in the system, and you have your flight schemas set with teams, you are able to assign teams to particular fields to schedule on. When I click on the Teams tab, I can select a flight, and I'm going to see any teams assigned to this particular flight. On this screen, I have a primary option to set a primary field and an alternate option, and I have alternate 2 and alternate 3. So all home games for this team are going to be scheduled on one of these fields. Once I have a field assignment, at least one home field for all of my teams in this particular flight, I can schedule. If the system doesn't have a home field assigned to a team, it's not going to schedule any home games there. In the left-hand navigation, when I click on Scheduling and Schedule Map, there are several different scheduling modes. When I'm assigning teams to home fields, we want to use the scheduling mode, Home Games on Home Fields Only. Minimize my head coach conflicts, click on the particular bracket I want to schedule, put in my schedule limits, the first day I want to schedule, and the last day, and I click Schedule Selected Rounds. Home Games on Home Fields Only. System is going to attempt to schedule, based on the parameters I've set, all home games on home fields. Once my schedules are created, I can see that 27 games were scheduled and 13 were not scheduled. The 13 games that were not scheduled would have been caused by field availability running out for what I've set for these home teams. At this point, I have 2 options. I have 13 unscheduled games. I can look for an additional field to assign to these teams and run the schedule again, or I can manually schedule these games. In the left-hand navigation, I can click on Assign Game Schedule, Boys Under 11 Division 1, Search, And I'm going to see any unscheduled games listed at the top of the screen. At the bottom of the screen, I'm going to see my scheduled games. To understand where you might place these teams, in the left-hand navigation, you can click on Publish, and you can click on the non-bolded words for the flight you're working on, Boys Under 11 Division 1. Here it shows me all the teams and what I've scheduled so far. If I click on Team A, I see all of their home games and where they were scheduled. I see all of their games, in fact, and where they were scheduled. Under Assign Game Schedule Manually, I can manually update these games and add them to the system. An additional feature I have available is under Scheduling and Field Usage. On this screen, if I click on the bracket I've scheduled, and click on Field Scheduler and Graph New, I'm going to see a drag and drop representation of this schedule. When I click this box, clicking on the games, all games from the same team will show in orange. I click the Submit button, and if I click on a game, it's going to show me all games for A3 and A10. Here's A10, here's A3. I have an option for unscheduled games, and when I click Get Games, I can see any unscheduled games. A3 and A10. I can drag these unscheduled games onto the schedule. And additionally, I can move games that need to be moved. I can drag a game on top of another game to have it swap spots. This is a drag and drop interface that allows you to see any potential head coach conflicts and make a graphic adjustment to any of your game schedule. When you're finished and you're satisfied with your schedule, you can click on Publish in the left-hand navigation, and you click Accepted Visible, Bracket Visible, Schedule Visible, and Stats Visible. Then you manually publish your schedule. This is pushing it out to the public. Save changes and publish selected flights, and I'll have published these schedules to the public. Thank you.